ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Medina High School, the home of the Bees and also the home of the Medina Invitational Tournament. This is the 39th edition to the greatest show in wrestling here in Medina, Ohio. I'm Ryan Mitchell, Eric Lovin beside me, and we were here last year, watched this tournament, and a lot of people said it might have been a bit down from other years, but this year that is certainly not the case. There's a lot of high-quality wrestling here in this gym.
Absolutely. They've had a few upsets, but we have actually 7 top seeds that are still in the finals. We're going to have some interesting matches tonight.
It should be a lot of fun. Maslin Perry leads the team race. A lot of people thought coming in that they were the horse to beat. But I think what a lot of people didn't factor on is Lakewood St. Ed's not going away. Everybody says Ed's is down this year, but they've got something to say about that. They're in second place right now.
They are in second place. That's correct. As far as Central Ohio teams go, Ryan, we have 4 that are in 10th through 13th place. Lancaster and Olentangy tied for 10th. Pickerington North and Westerville North tied for 12th.
And all of those teams have at least one finalist.
They all have one finalist, exactly. And the top 3 teams have 2 in the Wrestlebacks, so they can get some additional points. Yep. Westerville North has 1 in the Wrestlebacks.
Josh Weimer was expected to be in these finals from Central Crossing. He's not going to be there with a skin infection issue, which is unfortunate. Of course, he wasn't defeated on the mat. But regardless, it's going to be a great finals here. I'm excited. I hope you are. And I hope all of you at home are excited to watch the finals of the Medina Invitational Tournament. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a beverage, get a snack, and sit down. It's Matside with Bob Daly.
It's such an honor and such a pleasure once again to do our traditional interview here at the Medina Invitational Wrestling Tournament with the real brains behind the tournament, Lynn Hotelling. Lynn, how are you?
Doing pretty good. A little tired. It's been a real hectic time getting ready for the tournament this year, but it's gone real smooth. We ran early most of the tournament. We had some killer matches this year.
Well, now we're getting ready for the finals right now as we talk. And we got several state champions in the finals, and it looks like a pretty good lineup. And I think 3 or 4 unseeded wrestlers, which is always interesting.
Well, we've got a junior high state champ. We've got, again, like you said, the unseededs, and we had some upsets. It's gonna be a good night of wrestling, let me tell you.
Well, we're looking forward to the finals. Now, how many years? I know this is the 39th Medina Invitational Tournament. Have you been involved every year in one way or another?
24th.
24th.
This is my 24th.
And how many years have you actually been running the tournament?
It's been at least 13 to 15 years. So.
Well, you do a fantastic job. This is one of the best tournaments ever, and of course, this particular tournament is the granddaddy of holiday wrestling tournaments. Greatest show in wrestling, as it's called, and it's always a pleasure to be here. You do a fantastic job, and it's always a delight to see you and have a chance to chat with you again.
Oh, thank you very much. It's going to be fun tonight. I hope everybody enjoys the action.
Good luck with the finals.
Thank you.
It's an honor and privilege to be talking to Dave Riggs, head coach of the Maslin Perry High School wrestling team, currently in first place here at the tournament, and with 5 finalists. Dave, I think you're in pretty secure position to win this tournament, you think?
This tournament, I'd say it's pretty much over. Next week's a new week.
Now, you've had a pretty good season this year. Tell us about it.
We have. Our biggest problems is trying to keep everybody healthy. Between the Ironman and the Beast of the East, we've had a couple duels. It's nice to get back in Ohio for this tournament. Next week we wrestle Blair Academy at our place, so our schedule's pretty in depth.
That's a monster schedule, don't you think?
It continues. Clovis West out of California, we're going to see in a couple weeks as well.
Wow. Now, how long have you been at Maslin Perry? I've known you for over 20 years, and we've done a lot of things together, and it's always been a pleasure. But how long have you been involved in Maslin Perry?
This is my 28th year at Maslin Perry.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And what got you into it?
Just the job opportunities. I just thought there was a gold mine laying there. When I first took the job, we were second to the last in the conference, and we changed that almost immediately.
Excellent. Well, you've had a terrific season and a terrific career there at Maslin Perry. and it's always been a real pleasure to know you and to work with you on so many things.
Yeah, you bet.
I know you're still active in USA Wrestling.
I coach a lot of our kids. I'm not as active as I used to be, but it's still very important to us. You know, our coaching staff, we have just a great staff over the years, and they're involved in the USA Wrestling.
Excellent, excellent. Well, good luck on the finals,
Great.
and we'll hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Take care. You bet.
That's not been the case. There's been a lot of upsets up and down the board here so far today.
Well, yes, there's only one weight class really that's going to feature the number 1 against the number 2 seed. And there are actually 3 unseeded wrestlers in the finals at 120, 126, and 285.
Can you hear me?
That's the kind of tournament we have
Can
here.
you hear me?
Where it's it can be anybody's game. There are so many quality teams and quality wrestlers at every weight class. It's real. Just getting to the finals itself can be a real grind because unlike the state tournament, we've got divisions 1, 2, and 3. Here it's just everybody thrown together.
Exactly.
And some even from out of state, and a couple of really good Michigan teams.
Absolutely. We're going to see 3 reigning state champions in the finals, Brian, and some other interesting statistics. There are, as we mentioned before, 4 Central Ohio finalists at 145, 182, 220, and at 285.
Tonight I will be flashing forward from the 2013 Medina Invitational Wrestling Tournament. At 106 pounds, Tyler Warner from Claymont Tyler graduated in 2016. He was a 3-time state champ with 166-12 record. Currently he is wrestling at Wheeling Jesuit, and he's a sophomore with education major. His brother Dustin is a senior on the team, as well as 2 other Claymont alums. His opponent is Tony Gentine from Maslin Perry. Tony graduated in 2014. The summer prior to his senior year, he actually wrestled in the 2013 USA Junior Freestyle Nationals in Fargo. His senior year was actually his first year as a varsity starter, and unbelievably he finished 2nd in the state that year.
In the next 4 plays.
Specials you may begin. On deck 113.
And we're off here at 106 pounds, our first championship match here. Tyler Warner of Claymont there in the gold singlet, taking on Tommy Geniton of Maslin Perry. He's in the white singlet with the black trim. His shoes would actually look better with Warner's singlet.
Ryan, on paper, this looks like a really interesting match.
You ain't kidding.
We've got a number 1 seed who's only a sophomore, but a reigning state champion, against a senior from Maslin Perry, Tommy Geniton, and who didn't place in the states last year. But Geniton has had a spectacular tournament so far with 4 pins, and this should shape up to be an interesting match.
Well, Geniton clearly has the, at least as far as high school is concerned, experience advantage, being the senior. But there you see the ankle pick by Warner. He uses his long arms and long legs to great effect. That's one of his calling cards there, to be able to use that reach advantage and get on top and really be a sponge. He is a tremendous rider.
So the number 1 seed is ahead by a score of 2-0 with a little less than a minute to go in the first period.
His brother Dustin Warner lost in the semifinals to L.J. Bentley, the lone finalist from Lakewood St. Ed's. Warner was the top seed. Warner the senior. Dustin at 113 pounds. That 113 was a pretty loaded weight class. Here we see Warner continuing to ride hard. He hasn't come really close to a turn yet, as Geniton's fought off his best efforts, staying up on his base. Winding down here with under 10 to go in the first period. See Geniton doing a nice job keeping hand control, foiling Warner's efforts. So his 2 points scored in the first period. both of these guys pretty long and lean. Sometimes you'll get those, particularly here at the real lightweights, you can get a very different body style. You can get those short, stocky guys and the long and lean fellas, and both of these guys pretty similar in build.
Exactly.
Jennington to start on top. Boy, what a switch right into reversal. The switch didn't get it done, but the chaos that it caused put Jennington in a position where he was scrambling, trying to get free. As the coaches will say, give one, not two. Well, he tried to give one, but Warner just kept the pressure on and wound up with the two.
That was one of the most impressive moves that I've seen in a long time. Warner is, for a sophomore, very impressive.
Ranked third in the nation at 106 pounds by Intermat.
Not surprising.
We have a handful of those guys here in the finals. He is the highest ranked wrestler of anybody in these finals as far as the nation is concerned, but there are a few more, I believe 4 other wrestlers in the top 20. We'll see them coming up later on. One of the wrestlers in the top 20 didn't make the finals.
Leading up to the finals, Warner had a 18-3 match, tech fall. Then he had a pin in 1 minute and 24 seconds. And then in the semifinals, he won by a score of 5-0.
You see Jennington here really has not come close to anything resembling an escape. This speaks to the tenacity of Warner on top.
Very impressive.
You mentioned the number of Maslin Perry wrestlers here in the finals. This is one of them, but you also talked about the fact that St. Ed's has 7 in the wrestlebacks. And obviously, if you win the championship match, the points are far greater, but if you're up against stud after stud after stud like they are, you got to win some of those matches to make those points stand up.
Well, with a 30-point difference, though, leading into the finals, it's going to be really hard for
Yes.
St. Ed's to
No doubt about it.
overcome that gap.
Warner's got the far arm buried there.
4-0 with 5 seconds to go in the second period.
Well, you've got to give Jennington this. He is tough on the bottom because he's, now granted, these are only 106-pound guys, but when you're 106 pounds and you're carrying 106 pounds, that's still an awful lot of weight to be backpacking, and he has carried Tyler Warner for the better part of 2 periods here.
Sure has.
And he wants no part of going down in the 3rd period. You can see why. Look out for a facelift. Warner trying to hip in, close to the 2. Nearly has it. If he can lock up the cradle, he'll get it. If he can expose the shoulders, he'll get it. There he steps over. Jennington holding on to that leg for dear life. Now he's given up the takedown, and Warner, only 25 seconds into the 3rd period, leads 6-0. Now he's not really come close to a turn here, but Jennington has only been able to hold his position on bottom. Never even gotten to his feet. Total domination from a riding standpoint. And you know, you'll see, and you know, we talk about this seemingly every week, you'll see college coaches watch a guy like Tyler Warner and salivate.
Absolutely.
Because of the riding time in college, and if just the ability to wear your opponent out from the top position. That's what a coach will look at and say, boy, this guy, maybe he's not superior on his feet the way a lot of D1 athletes are. Maybe he's not tremendous on the bottom, but if you can really be a hammer on top, you're going to get a lot of looks at the next level.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to pay you a little bit anyway to go to college.
Yeah. And he's only a sophomore. I have trouble getting over that, especially since he's wrestling against a senior from Maslin Perry. No slouch.
No, certainly not. Looking for that far side cradle now. Knee to the head, he got it. Can he get some backs? No, Jennington does a nice job to break the hands there. Tell you what, there's 11 seconds left in this match. Jennington has had a saddle on him from moment one. But credit this kid with a lot of guts.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of kids would give up right there and just say, well, the match is over. He's got a good hard cradle locked in. Maybe I won't get pinned, but I'm not going to give up the points here. But I'm not going to be able to fight down. He did. He fought to break the hands. He got to he was given an escape here for the 1 point.
time
And
is over.
that'll be at a 7-1 final. Warner with a dominating performance. Gutsy, though, from Tommy Jennington. He wrestled hard, the senior. He'll come up a runner-up as Tyler Warner's a champion.
At 113 pounds, we have L.T. Bentley from St. Ed's. L.T., prior to his senior year in 2015, he committed to Pitt. He was an NCAA qualifier in 2016-17, and he is currently a junior wrestling at Pitt. His opponent that year was Seth Beard from Napoleon. Seth was a 2016 state champ. He also denied Tyler Warner his 4th state title. He wrestled at Kent State in 2016-17.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Impressive indeed, and we come to what might be the best weight class in this tournament at 113 pounds.
We've had some upsets in this weight class because we're looking at the number 2 seed against the number 5 seed.
L.J. Bentley was projected 1st or 2nd last year in the state of Ohio and didn't even make the state tournament. If memory serves, he didn't make the district tournament. He's out there in the black singlet with the black leggings. He'll be taking on Seth Beard of Maumee in the white pinstripe singlet. Bentley comes in, as you mentioned, the 5 seed. But this kid is flat good. 17th in the nation, according to Intermat, the junior. He's 12-2 on the year. Ranked 2nd in the weight class in D1 in Ohio. Seth Beard ranked number 3 in Division II. Dustin Warner, a nationally acclaimed 113-pounder in the top seed, went down to Bentley in the semifinals. Beard got past the unseeded Ethan Rivera of Brunswick, who spoiled the party of Aaron Kilburn of Richmond, Michigan. Richmond, Michigan, a sophomore who's the 3 seed.
Beard is 20-0 this year, undefeated going into this match.
I tell you what, if Bentley wins this match, he's got to get a lot of consideration for most valuable wrestler, because in the quarterfinals, he defeated Shakur Laney of Groveport Madison, who last year was 4th in the state in Division I. Laney finished 4th at sectionals and then won the district tournament and then finished 4th in the state in a very tough weight class.
That's unusual.
Scoreless a minute into the first period here. And there's not many guys that finish 4th at sectionals and wind up on the podium at the state tournament.
No, it's happened, but not very often.
Out of bounds they go for a restart to the middle. Beard has gotten here through an 8-0 major decision, a 12-4 major decision, and a fall in the semifinals. It's going to be a stall call on Beard as Bentley has been the aggressor. 2 points as they go out of bounds. Bentley kept the toes in, got control, and he will be on top. A nice takedown. And that's a good job wrestling all the way through the whistle.
Bentley is St. Ed's only finalist. He did take 3rd place last year at the Medina Invitational.
There are not many tournaments. Beard here's gotten to his feet, but I would venture to guess, and when you talk about the number 1 team for Lakewood St. Ed's, you probably have to go back a long way to find a tournament where they've only got 1 finalist.
Oh, yeah. I believe last year.
I'm not sure what they had in the Ironman this year. Time expires just before the takedown.
I'm pretty sure last year they had 7 finalists. If I one of the recent Medina Invitational tournaments, they had 7 finalists.
That's half the field.
Half the field, right? So
2-1 is the score after a period. Bentley with the lead. He'll start on top with Beard underneath. Bentley beat Warner by a 1-0 decision in the semifinals. Got a 3-1 overtime victory over Shakur Laney.
Let's get it now.
Laney wrestling Warner for 3rd place, 2 hour left.
Right now. Here they come.
Beard did have a pin in 1:48 seconds in his semifinal match against Rivera.
Anytime you get a pin in the first round first period here at the Medina tournament. That's something.
But he was going up against an unseeded Ethan Rivera from Brunswick, just a ninth grader who made it into the semifinals.
30 seconds plus gone now here in the second. Bentley having trouble gaining control. Beard doing a nice job keeping his wrist free, but he's not been able to come to his feet yet. Doing a good job keeping his base. Beard has been warned for stalling. Bentley is not.
1 minute left in this second period. Score 2-1.
Boy, Beard just has a tremendous base. And now Bentley's going to get hit for stalling. You see he was out off of the hip, but not really moving side to side, just sort of doing the same thing over and over again. So the referee, making it incumbent upon the top man to make something happen, puts in the stall call. Bentley leads it by just a point. Now Beard with his head on the mat. That's not a good way to get up off the mat and make your escape. Nice sit out. Stopped his motion, but then was able to get the hips free and tie it up at 2 apiece.
30 seconds to go in the second period.
113-pound championship match for both of these teams. It's their lone finalists, Maumee and Lakewood St. Edwards.
Beard is a sophomore at Napoleon High School.
Yes, Napoleon, excuse me. I keep saying Maumee.
And Bentley is a junior.
Now Beard in on a good shot here near the out-of-bounds line. That's where Bentley was able to score earlier. Trying to keep his feet in. They go out onto the gymnasium floor, and that's where action will be stopped. Well, the period ran out as well, so simultaneously a couple of different things to stop for. So Bentley has choice here in the third. He'll choose down and try and get that escape point. 2-2 match. And Beard elects to let him go right at the get-go to give himself as much time as possible to get that takedown.
It's a 1-point match with a little over a minute and a half to go in this final period.
Back up, back up, back up.
Beard took the shot without much of a setup, and Bentley was able to easily fend it off.
Right away.
Napoleon 33rd overall coming into the championship round, 35 points. One spot behind Beaver Creek.
Get your offense going.
Down to 1:15 to go. Beard knows he needs points. He can also tie this match if he can put enough pressure on Bentley to induce another stall call.
Where's he going? Get a good shot off. Get a good one off.
1 minute to go.
Gotta go here.
Bentley got his takedown right at the out-of-bounds line. You can see he's not being overly aggressive, but staying in good position. Boy, took a nice opportunity to drop to a shot there with 45 remaining on the clock. They're going to go out of bounds. And Beard's going to have to push the pace. He's going to have to get aggressive going forward, but that's what he's got to watch out for. If he doesn't do it carefully and under control, Bentley has the ability to drop to a shot. And that's where you can burn a good 12, 13 seconds. Even if you have no intention of scoring, if you just drop to a shot underneath. Down to 30 now. And again, Beard not really pushing the pace.
Hard for that. You gotta go. Back up.
It's a double leg shot.
20 seconds.
Problem there is he's shooting out of bounds and there's really nowhere for him to go. Even if he gets in deep on the shot, you have very little real estate to try and actually score.
Gotta go.
Down to 15. Bentley with a smart move, getting in on a shot. Near the out-of-bounds line, might be able to kill the clock here if nothing else. Beard keeps the whizzer. Down to 2, they're neutral.
2.5 seconds. Still a 1-point match.
Look for Beard to shoot right away. He does. Sprawled by Bentley. Desperation shot. Desperation attempt there by Beard, but it will go for naught. A 3-2 win for L.J. Bentley. The 5 seed beat the 4 seed, beat the 1 seed, and now he's beaten the 2 seed in the championship. If that's not a recipe for most valuable wrestler, I don't know what is.
Well, it certainly qualifies him to be considered for sure.
At 120 pounds, Josh Heil from Brunswick. Josh graduated in 2016. He finished third twice in the state tournament, including his senior year. In 2016, he started at Campbell University in North Carolina. He had a 15-13 record and was an NCAA qualifier. He is majoring in kinesiology. His opponent is Jake Newhouse from Maslin Perry. Jake graduated in 2015. He was a state champ in his senior year, and from the information that I was able to find, he started at Kent State University.
So we'll move to 120 pounds. Josh Heil of Brunswick, a sophomore. He was third a year ago in Division I. Will take on Maslin Perry Jr., Jake Newhouse. Newhouse in the white singlet, and Heil in the blue, black, and white.
So we're looking at a number 1 seed who is a sophomore from Brunswick against an unseeded Jake Newhouse from Maslin Perry, a junior.
Josh, I believe, the brother of Dean Heil, won his 4th state championship for Lakewood St. Ed's last year.
Heil himself was third in the states at 106 last year. Newhouse did not place in either the districts or the state tournament or in the Medina Invitational last year. He was 20-1. This year he is 6-4, but he is unseeded and he's in the finals.
He's 10-4 now after running through here to the championship.
Right.
And despite the fact that his record was just 6-4 coming in, he's ranked 9th in the weight class in Division I. He was 20-1 a year ago. Stalemate called there. 1:11 on the clock in the first period. A double leg shot in deep. Heil trying to get the hips away. Lifted up by Newhouse, brought to the mat, and 2. There's the takedown. Now looking for exposure points. Did not get him. Under 40 now to go. See Heil there trying to get a new start. Wanted to get off the mat and start fresh in the middle. They will. Newhouse, from the moment he stepped on the mat, had a distinct look of determination on his face. Nice switch.
Nice.
And the reversal ties things up. Boy, that was... If you're watching at home and recording this show, rewind that and watch it again, because it was quick and it was slick.
It's a move that you don't see too often anymore.
No.
In high school wrestling. It was one of the basics when I was in school a few centuries ago.
Well, a well-timed and well-executed switch based upon feeling the pressure when it's there is really tough to defend. Because if it's done well, the top man doesn't have anything to fight off of because he's busy falling, gravity's taken over. And that was executed beautifully there. All of a sudden, Heil was just gone, and Newhouse could do nothing but fall onto the mat. Meanwhile, Heil was scoring 2 points. Looking for a Peterson.
It doesn't usually work well against an experienced wrestler. Going into the finals, number 1 seed Heil had a pin and then 3 very close matches, 4-1, 1-0, and 5-3. Whereas Newhouse had 2 pins and 2 decisions.
They get a stall call here on Heil, or excuse me, on Newhouse.
A minute 26 remain in the second period. Score is tied 2-2, and now it's 3-2.
Well, Heil just does a great job of moving on the bottom. He almost had a Peterson on the start to this second period. Just pure movement there got him off the bottom. Stalemate the call. They're back to the middle. Perry had a finalist at 106. They got one here at 20, another at 26, another at 32. So the early going, Maslin Perry is well represented. I'd have to say that they are favored each of the next 2 times they send a fella out there. One heavily, one less so.
Perry has a really tough schedule with the Beast of the East and the Iron Man, and some really tough dual meet opponents as well.
Yeah, when you get through a schedule like they wrestle, and there are a few other schools that do the same thing, by the time you get to the end of the year, one of 2 things will happen. You will be fortified. You will have been forged in a very hot fire and therefore be sharpened steel, or you're just going to be worn out.
Exactly.
You're going to be beat to a pulp. There's the end of the second period with only an escape to show for it. It belongs to Dean Heil, so is the lead. Or excuse me, to Josh Heil. 3-2 is the lead for the sophomore. They'll start neutral in the third. Interesting that Newhouse elected to not take the bottom position to try and tie this match up. Now, that being said, either way, if he gets a takedown here, he takes the lead, whether he's escaped or whether he started neutral. He's in deep in a good spot. Heil here is just going to try and hang on to that leg and work for a stalemate. So Newhouse, well, look out here, could have ourselves a pin. There's the takedown. Here comes some back points. Heil's in trouble. Finally able to belly out. That's going to be 2 on the back. So the 2-2 makes it a 6-3 lead for Newhouse. And now they will stop. It was an inadvertent whistle on the far mat. They caused Heil and Newhouse to stop wrestling momentarily. They realized it, but then the referee said, all right, fellas, let's just start fresh. Now Newhouse here gives the uncontested escape. He's been superior on his feet, largely to Heil. Heil has been far better on the bottom. We've not seen him much from the top. Heil attempted the throw by, but it put Newhouse right into a shot. That was an interesting position there because Heil, had he been able to get the corner, was in a good position for a standing cradle, whereas Newhouse was in a position, if he'd slid his hips underneath and drove to the side, was in a good spot for a double leg lift. So both wrestlers had an opportunity there for a score. Neither, of course, wound up with it. Under a minute to go. Heil applying the pressure.
2-point match. Maslin Perry's Jake Newhouse in the lead. 40 seconds to go.
Newhouse missed an opportunity there for an ankle pick with Heil being on his heels and backing. Tried for it there after the whistle blew. Heil started too early.
.30 seconds.
Now there has been a stall. Look out! Planted on his back as Heil tried for the shot. Lost his footing and Newhouse planted him. Now Heil just trying to avoid the pin. Newhouse a little bit too far across. from being chest to chest. Heil fighting for all he's worth. He knows this match is lost, but he's got pride to fight for.
5 seconds.
Keeping that right shoulder up. What a match for Jake Newhouse, who found himself down early, and it looked like Heil's match in the first period. But Newhouse, who again had that determined face on right from the get-go, never buckled and wrestled a great match.
Yep. Unseeded Jake Newhouse with an 11-4 win.
A championship at the Medina tournament.
At 126, David Baverly from Maslin Perry. David was a 4-time state placer, a 2-time state champ in 2012 and in 2014. He had an outstanding record of 171-25. He is currently wrestling at Notre Dame College. He was an All-American in 2017. He is also the teammate of Central Crossing's Cameron Teacher. His opponent was Darren Gilkerson from Wadsworth. I really don't have too much information on him. I do know that he graduated in 2016. At 138 pounds, Cody Bircher from Claymont. At Claymont, he was a 2-time state runner-up. After graduation in 2014, he enrolled at OSU. He was an NCAA qualifier in 2017, and he is currently a redshirt junior. His opponent was Nick Boggs from Riverside, Michigan. Nick was a high school All-American at his senior year in 2014. His record was 148-31. He attends Lake Erie College. He earned All-American status in 2017, finishing 5th in the Division II Nationals. I believe he is studying criminal justice.
We move on now to 132 pounds, where we have Justin Bostic of Massillon Jackson in the black singlet, taking on Major Moore of Willard. Moore a senior, Bostic a junior.
This is a number 3 seed against a number 4 seed in this weight class.
Neither wrestler ranked at their respective weight classes. Both were state qualifiers a year ago, and both placed at this tournament at 120 pounds. Bostic 7th, Moore was 4th, and Moore in on a deep shot, but the Wizard fights it off.
They are having a pretty decent season, though, however. Bostic of Maslin Jackson, a junior, is undefeated this year with a 16-0 record leading into the finals here. Moore is 17-1 leading into the finals.
You see records like that, and you deservedly so think, boy, these guys are pretty doggone good. But then you look at David Bavery, 17-5. Well, you talked about that in the last weight class.
Yeah,
the schedule, right, the schedule they wrestle is far superior to what most guys. Bostic surveying the land, trying to find an opening underneath. Couldn't get there. Now Moore with the shot from outside. Bostic counters with an underhook. Now a step through and right to the back. So over-under action. Period will expire, and the referee got only a 4 count, not to the full 5 count, so it'll be 2-2. And there's the lead. Nicely done by Bostic. Choice goes to Bostic after a deferral. He'll take down.
In this weight class, Bostic did have the best record last year, placed higher than anybody else. He was 2nd in his district. No wrestler in this weight class placed at the state tournament.
Talked about how deep 113 was. This is the only final that has unranked wrestlers facing off. But you can tell these guys are something to be reckoned with.
Got to be pretty tough to make it into the finals of this tournament.
No doubt about it.
Circumstance.
Top seed Nick Durio lost in just the 2nd round, handily, 7-0. He was shut out by Nicky Queesis of Brunswick, a freshman. Nick Durio, the top seed from Westerville North, went down very early. The number 2 seed lost in the quarterfinals. And now here is a plant on the back by Moore. Bostic fighting off his back. A full minute to go in the period. What a match back and forth this has been. It's going to be tied up at 5 apiece at the conclusion of this move, whether it's the end of the period or Bostic fighting his way to his belly.
40 seconds left in the period.
And there it is. Bostic does belly out. We're tied at 5 with each wrestler putting the other flat to his back from their feet. Moore looking for a standing Merkle maybe. Bostic in on the shot. Moore. So there you see him trying to stretch that body out and get that flip for some back points. Down to 10 seconds left. When you get in that position, you've got to know, does it feel right? Do I have the right grip? Is there too much sweat? Because once you commit and you roll, you're going to your back before he gets to his. And if it doesn't work, you're in a bad neighborhood, and Moore that time elected to not take the chance. We go to the third period after a brief bit of blood time in between, and it's going to be Moore taking the bottom position. Bostic's going to come with the optional start and crash on to the cradle and then eventually let him up. You don't see that too often anymore. With the advent of the uncontested escape, not many wrestlers will go with the optional start. So it's Moore on top, 6-5. I like to see those two locked up. Overs and unders like that, because we've already seen a couple of plants.
Upper body wrestlers, for sure.
It's entertaining. Shot by Moore.
Nice.
Can he close the gap? Yes. A lift and another feet to back. This one a little bit more conventional as a takedown, and he also didn't get any back points to go with it. But here he's got that reverse half. If he can walk to the feet, might be able to score with it. Bostic, though, fights out. Bostic now trying to hip in, and out they go.
Still ahead by 3 points then.
Hey, minute 12.
With a minute 12 to go in the match.
Smart.
Well, if you're a wrestling fan, if you like excitement, this has been the money match so far. Bostic caught underneath, down 3 points, but still with over a minute to go. Now we see Moore sink the boots in, wants to work that far side banana split.
Get it in the knee and isolate. There you go. Now start arching.
Banana split didn't work. Maybe go to a guillotine on the upper body. They're indeed hooking that left arm, trying to pull it across. I see the referee right in there to make sure that anything Moore does is going to be within the confines of the rules. That's where you can really injure a guy if you're not careful.
On your toes, on your toes. Catch that wrist.
Clock ticking down under 20 now. And time is running out on Justin Bostic.
Elevate.
Bostic took an early lead with a feet to back 4-point move at the end of the period. And really, Moore looked here at a championship began the second tier pounds at the Medina Invitational Tournament. Moore with a throw of his own. It was a 5-point move. He got a nice takedown to the back in the third period. And Major Moore comes away with the 8-5 victory.
Wrestling 138, fifth place, Perkins, set ball.
At 138 pounds, Cody Bircher from Claymont. At Claymont, he was a 2-time state runner-up. After graduation in 2014, he enrolled at OSU. He was an NCAA qualifier in 2017, and he is currently a redshirt junior. His opponent was Nick Boggs from Riverside, Michigan. Nick was a high school All-American at his senior year in 2014. His record was 148-31. He attends Lake Erie College. He earned All-American status in 2017, finishing 5th in the Division II Nationals. I believe he is studying criminal justice.
Oh, here we go.
138-pound championship up next, and it is another Claymont wrestler, Cody Bircher, senior, 3rd in the state last year. He is the red wrestler in the orange singlet, taking on Nick Boggs of Riverside.
Nick Boggs on net 145.
Both seniors, number 2 seed Bircher against the number 4 seed Boggs.
Two of the top wrestlers in Division II.
Both placed in the state last year. Cody Bircher of Claymont took 3rd place at 126 pounds.
He's up a
Boggs,
couple classes this year.
Nick Boggs was 132 pounds and placed 5th.
You don't necessarily see that a lot from a junior to a senior to jump more than one weight class, but that is the case here for Bircher this year. Ranked 2nd in the state in Division II at 138. Boggs ranked 11th. No score, 1:09 left to go. Shot by Boggs. Got a pretty good angle, but Bircher just so solid with that whizzer. Suffocated.
This is another match where on paper these seem to be quite closely paired up. Both in this tournament, both had 2 pins in their first 2 matches, and both had pins under 1 minute in their first match, followed by 2 decisions.
Bircher had a good early aggressive shot. Since then, though, it's been Boggs having somewhat the better of the position. Getting another stalemate here from the referees, losing patience with the 2 of these fellas.
With 5 seconds to go, no score.
That'll be the end of the first. This is our first matchup of seniors. We'll have another at 160, 170. There you get into the upper weight, you'll see that more often.
Oh, absolutely.
Bircher begins on bottom for period number 2. Easily sits out and escapes to take a 1-0 lead. Now looking for the takedown. Roll through by Boggs. Doesn't give it up. Now Boggs has a leg. Interesting flurry of activity that wound up giving no points to anybody.
Boggs was a champion last year at the Medina Invitational Tournament, and Bircher was a runner-up.
At their same respective weight classes, they didn't meet. It was Boggs at 132, Bircher still at 126 at the time.
Exactly.
Claymont would like to jump St. Ed's into 2nd place. We saw Bentley win earlier. Tyler Warner also got a victory. So they've traded champions. Bircher could give him a leg up on the championship match here. 50 seconds remaining. Bircher looking to come out the back door for the takedown. Boggs does give up the takedown. Couldn't get that left leg away quickly enough to turn and face. So once Bircher was able to collapse both ankles, there was the takedown.
Score is 3-0 with 30 seconds to remain in the 2nd period.
Stalemate called with 22 seconds. This might be, I'm pretty sure this is the only final where both guys got here with 1-0 decisions in the semifinal round.
Interesting.
Boggs beat top seed Nick Bird And Bircher got by the 3 seed, Miles Amine, both those wrestlers from the state of Michigan. Amine, the younger of the two from Detroit Catholic Central. Miles, his brother Malik, was the top seed at 145, lost in the semifinals. We'll see the man that defeated him up next.
Score still stands 3-0 with 1.5 minutes left in the third period.
Nothing doing here from either guy. Down to a minute remaining. We've seen this referee tell both guys to pick up the activity. Interesting to see as the match goes on. He tries to make more of a deal of that, and there is a stall call on Bircher. Three to nothing. Bircher with the lead with 45 to go here in the second period. Bircher with the shot. Boggs, as he has done several times, winds up with a far side underhook off of that shot and gets that elbow stuck in deep. Now finally is able to get it free. Boggs with the shot and again into that position. 20 seconds to go. Out of bounds. Claymont with one of the more recognizable sets of singlets. Now this year they've got that burnt orange with the black stripes. Oftentimes you'll see the white with the burnt orange stripes or the burnt orange with the white stripes. I don't recall if I've seen this configuration before. There goes the end.
That's it. 3-0
of the match. A 3-0 win for Bircher. There wasn't a lot of high-flying activity, but it's a championship nonetheless for the Claymont senior, which sends us on to 145 pounds.
Justice. At 145 pounds, we have Logan Day of Archbold. Logan graduated in 2014. He was a 2-time state placer, finishing second in his junior year and third his senior year. His high school record was 183 and 33. In 2014-15, he had a redshirt year at Duke University, and I did not see that he was on the roster after 2015. His opponent is Tanner Miller. I know that Tanner is from Lancaster High School and that he graduated in 2015. I didn't find much information, but I do know that he was honored a number of times locally, and he was one of their more outstanding wrestlers during his time at Lancaster High School.
And here once again, we're talking about a number 2 seed against a number 4 seed.
At 145, it's going to be Logan Day of Archbold, a senior, taking on Lancaster's Tanner Miller. Miller won by medical forfeit over the top seed in his semifinal. Logan Day is the second seed, so he's held serve all the way through. The Lancaster Gales in the familiar navy singlets, Archbold in the white singlets, so they have the same color scheme, just a different base color.
Logan Day of Archbold was a runner-up in the state tournament last year at 128 pounds. And Miller was third in the district but did not place in the states.
Day with a little shove to get him out of bounds and start him back in the middle. Lancaster again, one of those Central Ohio teams with a wrestler here in the finals. One from Olentangy, one from Pickerington North coming up at heavyweight, and Westerville North. Ankle pick by Logan Day. He's got that knee collapsed, but now they're in a fight position with Miller able to grab onto ankles of his own. Now it's just a scramble.
No score.
Who can keep their head up and keep the shoelaces off the mat? Now Miller's in the more advantageous position with Day on his back trying to roll it through. And now if you're Day, you just got to hang on for dear life. Keep it onto that ankle. Coming out the back door. Great scramble here at 145 pounds in the first period. Down to 15 seconds remaining. Day holds onto the ankle. Miller winds up behind, but out of bounds. And no score. What a scramble. A lot of calories burned there for no benefit for either wrestler in the scoreboard.
That was interesting.
2 seconds left in the period. And we'll go to the second scoreless. Day wins choice. Rather than defer, he'll take bottom right away. It's one of those coaching decisions that'll go in ebbs and flows. Some guys will say, we always defer. We want choice in the third period where we better know the lay of the land. But some guys are of the opinion, listen, if I've got to get off the bottom one of these times, I'm going to do it in the second period when I'm fresher. And Day is off the bottom easily. Quickly, Miller into a shot. And Day was not ready for it. He's countered with a wizard trying to drop down to the ankle. Near the out-of-bounds line.
Another
Miller.
epic scramble here.
Yes, indeed. Miller's able to collapse the head. 30 to go. Miller wants to bring him in. Day would be happy to start fresh. And out of bounds they go. I don't think we've seen a match yet in these finals where there's been wrestlers as close to scoring without getting any points as we've seen here.
Absolutely.
Day with the underhook and ankle pick, and there's two. Well executed. Just imposed his will. He dropped his level. Miller did not, and that enabled Day just to drive straight through. Once he got that ankle off the ground, that was it. He's got a far side half here and pulling the elbow along with it. You don't see that every day. He got a count. Did he get two of them? I don't think so.
Not yet. Still 3-0 with 45 seconds to go in the second period.
See there again, the half is on the far side. Now he jumps side. Boy, that half's in deep. Miller might need some massage work on that shoulder after this match because
sure.
Day is just putting some torque on it. Potentially dangerous, the call, as the direction of the shoulder drive was going against the joint. Again, Day wants to run that half. Still able to gain his feet here. 3-0 is the lead. Day on top. Still has control, so now it's Miller just trying to escape.
These guys are burning a lot of calories.
You
for a
ain't
few
kidding.
Points.
You ain't kidding. You get to the third period in this match, you're going to see who really has run the hallways, who's done the extra work after practice at home. Hit the treadmill, gone to the gym. They get a stall call here on Day. Rather quickly so, but
Not sure I understand that.
now the referee's telling him that she didn't bring him back down to the mat in a timely fashion. Seemed a bit quick. And you see the referees, I don't know if you can see that at home, both of them getting right down on the mat as they were coming back down, because Logan Day, the top wrestler, dropped to the legs, and they wanted to make sure that he wasn't locking hands around the legs. A lot of wrestlers, particularly young wrestlers, don't understand. A lot of times they know that you can't lock around the waist, but you also can't lock hands around both legs either.
Not in that position.
So here to start the third period, it was again Miller down. He is given the easy escape by Day, and it's now a 3-1 match. Slide by. Miller looking to score near the out-of-bounds line. Roll through by Day. He's in a Peterson position. And they go out of bounds. Boy, Miller inches away from a takedown that time. You see that slide by a couple of times. Low shot by both men. Miller got lower, but not able to get through. And again, there's that ankle pick by Day. He felt it, had the pressure going forward, and he saw the ankle. Miller was had his weight on his heel, and he could not prevent the ankle pick takedown. So 5-1 the score.
1 minute to go in the match.
Again, that deep half. Miller trying to go head hunting here. Restart to the middle. Archbold, a tremendous program in Northwest Ohio in Division III. Coach Forward there for a lot of years. Had 3 sons come through. A pair of twins, and then Clark Forward was the most accomplished of the 3 at the high school and national level.
Clark went to Michigan, I think.
He did indeed. Chuck Forward, a longtime coach there. Day looking for a split crotch cradle here.
I think Chuck also was a Michigan grad.
They wrestle in what might be the toughest small school conference in Ohio. It's the NWOAL with Delta. Delta was a state champ last year, I believe, in the team tournament. Came in second in the individual tournament, or vice versa. Can't remember which. They had a champ at 106. And a freshman, Speece. There's the end of the match, and it is Logan Day who comes out on the high side of a 5-2 decision.
There's not a match at 150, so we go to 160. 160 is Michael Coleman from Hudson. Michael graduated in 2014. He placed 4th twice in the Ohio High School Athletic Association State Tournament. He is wrestling at the Naval Academy, and in 2017, which would have been his junior year, he was 22-9, and he qualified to the NCAA tournament. His opponent, Tony Daly from Maslin Perry. Tony was a state champ his senior year in 2014. He wrestles at Notre Dame College, and he is majoring in early childhood education.
Tony Daly. At 160 pounds, we move on to Maslin Perry's Tony Daly, 11th ranked in the country, top ranked in the state at 160 pounds, taking on senior from Hudson, Michael Coleman. Coleman, 4th in the state last year, 5th here at Medina 2 years ago, ranked 3rd in the state at this 160-pound weight class.
And this is the only match in which we see the #1 seed against the #2 seed. The only match in this tournament.
Yes, indeed. This is possibly a state finals preview. And there aren't many of those in this tournament either because of the number of different wrestlers from out of state, but also different divisions as well. Both of these guys, D1.
Both seniors.
Daly, a disappointing, I think, for him, 5th last year at 152 pounds.
Get your feet ready. Get your feet ready. Finish. Drive, drive, drive.
Get on the shot.
You got it.
And Coleman able to spin away.
tempo. Keep your tempo. Finish it.
Again, Daly with the shot to the outside. Finishes the takedown. Wasn't able to get Coleman all the way over to the back with the barrel roll, but now looking to tilt.
Keep working. Drive. Drive, you got it. You got it. Load him up now. That's there. Hey, other side bicep. Other side bicep.
With just over half of the tournament gone, half of the finals matches gone, we haven't seen a bad match.
No.
Really. All close, interesting matches.
There was one medical default at 126 pounds.
Drive. Keep that single. Keep the single.
There has not been a major decision victory. Out of bounds they go.
Nor a pin.
No pins. Been a couple of guys on their backs,
One more takedown.
but nobody has stopped there.
Keep pushing the pace.
30 seconds to go in the period.
Keep pushing it. Let's go. Close the gap. Level change step.
2-1 is the score.
Drag out.
Daly with the takedown. Coleman with the escape.
Get there. Hustle. Good. Hey, came down now.
And they're out again with 13 seconds to go. Perry has another finalist coming up next in Isaac Bast. Aslan Perry's had a whale of a tournament, a whale of a year. Barrel roll again. No score. And nearly the takedown by Coleman. Time expired before they went out of bounds. Daly got a little bit lazy there on the execution of the barrel roll, and Coleman almost able to pounce.
Hustle up.
Daly starts on bottom here to begin the second.
Keep it behind you.
Quickly to his feet. Back down, they go out of bounds.
And get that inside hip out. Keep coming up.
At 160 pounds, that's where you start to see the body types shift. You get into the bigger fellas.
Forward up. Fight over your right.
5 matches remain after this.
Keep going, you're good. Push your head up. Don't stop wrestling.
Daly still trying to get off the bottom. Out of bounds again they go. And if you're Coleman here, every time you can make this happen, make Daly burn some of that energy, you take some of the starch out of his socks, and for a guy that's on the national scene like Daly is, you want to try and even the playing field a little bit by taking away some of his energy, if nothing else. Daly again to his feet.
Coleman's doing a pretty good job,
He sure is.
but he's down by 1 point though.
Stand up, stay basic, stand up.
They'll have a chance to earn that point, assuming that they hold this position for the rest of the match, or the rest of the period, I should say, with 1:10 to go. Coleman would have a chance to score an escape and tie the match in the third period.
Come on, Tony. You gotta fight. Stand up, get your head up. Stand up.
Your coaches turning your outstanding wrestling.
Seen Daly try that roll through a couple of times. This time, Coleman winds up with the arm bar. But Daly reaching back to his own knee to try and prevent any kind of turn. Down to 35 seconds to go. Bar on the far side from Coleman. Might look for a near side half to go with it.
Tony, you got 20. You got 20. We gotta get one this period. 20 seconds. Get one.
Stalling is going to be the call here on Coleman, who was out to the side.
Stand up. No roll. No roll.
Now, I'm certain that he wasn't stalling there. He just wasn't able to find a way to keep the offense going. That's a tough position, not only for a wrestler, but for a referee.
Stay strong.
Tough call, but it was just a warning.
Didn't cost him any points at this point. Down to 10 seconds left. Daly nearly to his feet. Boy, if you're Coleman, you don't want to give up the escape now. 4 seconds left. He might give up more than the escape. Gives up the one with 1 second to go. Rode him for 1:59 and winds up giving up the point. That's a tough one to swallow. Now if you're Coleman, got to go on the bottom, try and make it a 1-point match again. Daly clearly has been superior on their feet. And really, Coleman didn't come close to a turn from on top. Look for a chin rip there. Started over again. 160-pound final. Both seniors. From this point on, there are only 2 wrestlers who are not seniors. Nate Hall of Olentangy at 182 pounds. And Bailey Faust of Lexington, a junior, at 195. Everybody else is a senior, which is typical when you get into the bigger boys.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep him on that hip, drive now.
Especially for the finals in a tough tournament like this.
Drive on your toes, forward. Pick
Coleman to his feet, near the out-of-bounds line again, and they go out. 1:33 to go. 2-point match here. I think if you had asked most people coming in the third period, is this going to be a 3-1 match? They just said, no way.
No.
Tony Daly is a top 10 kid in the country. Coleman has really fought well here, a particularly strong ride in the second period.
Sit down, sit down, sit. You ready to pick?
1:15 left in the match, still 3-1.
Switch attempt there.
Wow. Hey, ties
1 point out of bounds. Did not get the 2.
I don't know about that.
Quick whistle by the referee. I think if he lets the action play out there, it becomes a reversal instead of an escape. Coach from Hudson wanted an explanation.
No bad shot.
I think he's got a case. The activity on the adjacent mat was nowhere near, so it wasn't a safety issue. I think he just blew the whistle too soon.
I think so.
Get close. Don't
He got ahead of himself a little bit.
But it's a 1-point match.
let him hang.
Daly again trying for that barrel roll.
Drag out, drag out.
That's how he got his takedown in the first period. But a barrel roll like that at this same point in the mat near the out-of-bounds line almost turned into disaster as Coleman stopped it and nearly was able to reverse the momentum. 35 seconds to go. 3-2 is the score. Daly on top.
Big step, big step, big step. It's there.
Coleman has been warned for stalling. Daly has not. Daly in on a deep double. And he's going to score the takedown near the out-of-bounds line. And you can see at that moment when the takedown was awarded, Coleman had that body language of, well, I gave it my best, but that might be the moment the match was won and lost.
Catch your wrist. Catch your wrist.
It was close right up until that moment. Now it's 5-2.
Even a reversal doesn't tie the match. Daly trying to elevate for back points here. He's got 1 count, didn't get a 2 count, and we're down to 3 seconds remaining. So Tony Daly is going to come out with a 5-2 win and a championship here for the Matside Perry Senior at 160 pounds.
Tony Daly.
At 170 pounds, Drew Garcia from Detroit Catholic Central. Drew was a 3-time Michigan State champ with a combined record of 93-1 his junior and senior year. Currently, he is wrestling at Cornell University, and I believe he is studying agricultural and life science. His opponent that year was Isaac Bast from Maslin Perry. Isaac graduated in 2014. He was a 3-time state placer, finishing 3rd his senior year. He was in 2014, he was a redshirt at Kent State. Currently, he is a junior wrestling at the 165-pound weight class.
Top-ranked wrestler, Detroit Catholic Central's Drew Garcia, a senior, a state champ, at 160 as a sophomore, a state champ at 171, which they still wrestle in Michigan, as a junior last year. He was a champion here at 170 last year. He finished a perfect 49-0 on the season a year ago. He's 11-0 this year, and he's ranked 12th in the country, taking on Isaac Bast of Massillon Perry. Bast in the white single with his back to you. Detroit Catholic Central in the white single with the blue and red trim. Garcia, for the purposes of this match, will be the red wrestler with Bast being green.
On paper, this would look like a lopsided match, but you can't count out Massillon Perry.
No, Bast is no slouch. He was 7th 2 years ago at 132, 8th last year at 145. Didn't have a great tournament.
He had a 44-10 record last year. 16-4 going into the finals this year. Whereas Garcia is undefeated with an 11-0 record.
Detroit Catholic Central without a couple of their solid wrestlers here today, so they only have 2 finalists. First, Nick Bennett just swarmed his in-state rival from Richmond, Devin Skatka.
Forward, Isaac, forward. Your game plan. Nice.
Garcia's pretty much crushed his opposition in this tournament. He had a 28-second pin in the first match, a tech fall in the second, a 1-minute 20-second pin in his third match, and he only won by 8-4 in his semifinal.
Well, a lot of people were hoping that Travis Linton of Rootstown was going to be here at 170, and they were looking forward to a matchup between Linton and Garcia in the finals. Linton wound up going 182. Linton, the champ last year for Rootstown, Division III at 170 pounds. We'll see him coming up in the next match.
Slide that way, leg up.
Detroit Catholic Central comes into the finals in 4th place. 2 in the championship, 3 in the wrestleback, unlikely to catch Claymont.
Elbows out, Isaac.
Under 10 seconds to go in the period. Garcia will ride it out and leads 2-0 after 1. Bast gets choice and will take down.
Big deep here. You're out. Get up. Knee slide here.
Bast without a ton of activity on the bottom right now. Great shoulder pressure and downward pressure from Garcia. And again, they go out of bounds.
Still reminders of the fans, please do not stand along the rail. The people up in the bleachers are complaining that they cannot see. Thank you.
We still have 3 Central Ohio finalists coming up. Brian, we have one at 182, and then the last 2 matches of the day will feature Central Ohio wrestlers.
Saw Gino Rollo, who's the heavyweight finalist from Pick North last week, win his home tournament, the Panther Invitational. Brought that to you here on Matside. The escape for Bast, and now Garcia looking to score some more on his feet. 1:10 to go in the second period.
Still just 2-1 though.
Shot by Garcia. Bast did a nice job getting the leg back, but then is hit for stalling for moving toward the outside line. Bast hasn't really had anything resembling an offense so far in this match. You can credit a lot of that to obviously the skill, but the positioning of Drew Garcia. He doesn't allow an opening.
Very solid wrestler.
There he is on a shot to the outside. Chases the far leg for the takedown with 25 to go. His lead expands to 4-1. Garcia trying to work his own arm out of there as Bast had it trapped. Very little time left to go here in the second period. Looks like Garcia is content to ride it out. And we'll go to the third. We have Garcia having choice of position. He'll take down, leads it by 3. That's about as calm and cool as you can get getting an escape, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Very similar to his teammate, Nick Bennett, in that the movement, there's just an economy of movement from this guy. He never appears like he's excited. He never looks out of position, never distraught. Just very cool, calm, and collected in his motions.
The way that you would expect a college wrestler to.
Yeah, very much so. Time's called.
Oh, we're back. Okay, action resumes with a little over a minute to go, 1:05 now left in the match. Score 5-1. Drew Garcia, a senior from Detroit Catholic Central, in the lead.
And really, he's not been in any jeopardy. He's done what he's wanted to do.
Hasn't broken a sweat yet, I don't think.
No.
Forward, Isaac, forward. Overtime. Nice back to shot. Yes, yes, come on. That's a good call. 28. Let's get one. You got one. Double, Isaac. Last double.
Still 5-1 with 28 seconds to go in the third period.
20 seconds. Let's get one more, Garcia. One more. 20 seconds.
They will start back in the middle. Garcia looking for one more takedown here before the match ends. Fast. Showing some fight there here toward the end.
11 seconds left.
Out of bounds, a near takedown for Bass, but just 2 seconds remaining. And there it is, 5-1 the victory for Drew Garcia of Detroit Catholic Central. He defeats Isaac Bast of Massillon Perry 5-1 at the 170-pound championships.
For the Golden Flashes. At 182 pounds, Travis Linton from Rootstown. Travis was a state champion his junior and senior year. In 2014, he finished 49-2. According to his Facebook page, he studied at Notre Dame College. His brother Garrett is listed on the 2014 wrestling roster. Travis wrestled Nate Hall from Olentangy High School. Nate was a 2015 graduate. His freshman year at Higher University, he wrestled at 197 pounds, and in the 2016-17 campaign, he wrestled at 184.
And that brings up our 182-pound weight class, Ryan.
Yes, indeed.
Our next Central Ohio wrestler, from Olentangy High School, Nate Hall. Third seed in this tournament, going up against the number 1 seed that we talked about before, Travis Linton of Root.
Linton of Rootstown, Nate Hall of Olentangy in the yellow singlet. Linton in the white.
Swing the right arm, swing the right arm.
Nate is just a junior.
Good start, buddy. Down it. There.
Now Hall coming out the back doors in a good position. Didn't even get the one. Now he's in danger of not getting anything. If they'd have just gone out of bounds there, they would have been lost of control in 1 point.
Exactly.
Hey. Forward, not the side, forward. Hey, you shouldn't do his hip before you stand up. Drive it forward.
You can tell that Hall is the bigger wrestler in this match. Does have a weight advantage.
Nice. Let him feel him. Let him feel it. Let's go. You kick these together. Let him feel it. On the wrist. On the wrist. At the elbow, Travis. 44. There it is. Go. Tuck him back. Tuck him back. Tuck him back real quick.
Linton here a little bit high in his ride, but Hall flat down doesn't really matter all that much. Now you're wearing a guy who weighs 182 pounds. That's not easy just to push up off the mat. Stalemate call.
Still 2-0. 19.9 seconds left in the first period.
Other side. Other side. There it is. Go, go, go.
Stalemate call once Linton was totally off the mat.
Suck it back. Suck it back hard.
And that'll be the end of the first period. So only 2 points there for Linton.
Linton is a reigning state champion. 170 pounds from last year for Rootstown. Hall won the district, his district last year, but did not place at the states.
Get him reaching. Double there. Reaching. Close the gap before you go, though. Close the gap.
Again, the second period, neutral. There's a shot by Hall. Nice barrel roll. Looking to finish it up. Finally got to the hip. Now he's got to pop the head. Didn't do it. Now he does. And he's got a tie match here.
That's very impressive.
It certainly is. Certainly is. Travis Linton is one of the top 182s in the state, regardless of division. But Hall is taking it to him here. And Linton, with his head down on the mat, looks a little bit beside himself.
Tied up match with just a minute left in the second period.
Hall's going to kick him. Linton clearly is out of sorts.
Hey, let's go.
Makes it
Pick it up.
3-2.
Nothing hurt. Hey, that low shot there. Low shot all day. Look how flat-footed he is.
Hall trying to stalk in here. A tremendous barrel roll shot there.
That was awesome.
Shot by Linton in on a double. And quick takedown awarded out of bounds. He'll get the 2. And then you can just see the talent, because Linton clearly is not feeling great right now. You tell from the body language and the look on his face. But there you can just see the talent on that double leg shot to finish through.
Keep that ankle locked. Half this side. Half this side. 15. half on that side. 1.5 on that side. 1.5 on that side. Stack him up. Stack him up here. There you go.
5-2 the score as the second period comes to an end.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Go.
This is pure speculation on my part, but I think maybe Linton is a little out of shape. I'm not sure he's wrestled any matches this year, according to the statistics that we were provided.
Yeah, a couple of teams didn't list records, so I'm not sure how much he has been on the mat.
We don't really know, but he does look a little winded.
Watch that cradle. Nope.
And
Hall almost had him cradled and stacked up.
Hey, keep your hips up. Circle. Circle.
Injury timeout now here for Linton.
a minute
And
33. I'm going to
Yep,
sorry, right?
we're back to activity here as Linton, after the rest, looks like he is reinvigorated. Looking for a Peterson here. Hall
You gotta sit up with it.
trying just to keep heavy hips. This is a stalemate position. As Hall has put a little leg on the back of his head and
He did.
started him up a little bit. That'll wake you up in the morning. So Linton's still on bottom, but on top on the scoreboard, 5-2.
Elbows in, buddy. Elbows in. Elbows in. Reach down and grab the other hand. Grab your own hand, Travis. Back your tilt. Back your tilt. Hold it tight. Hold it tight. You're good. You're good.
Hall here beginning to run out of time, under a minute to go, and he needs to get a full complement of 3 back points.
Just to tie it up.
Yep.
Circle up. Circle up.
Got that arm up on the back, but he's not in a really good position to do anything with it.
Take it. Take it over his own head.
25 seconds left in the match.
That one. Hey, ball stop, bro. Hey. Tap. 1-3. New tap.
And he's going to give up the escape here to try and go back to his feet. Best case scenario, it's going to be feet to back. And if you can get that done, then you can be a winner. But Linton's going to get in on a shot here. Well, elevator by Hall. They go out of bounds with 16 seconds.
It's a 4-point match.
And Linton doing the smart thing here, just taking a shot, getting in on the legs, burn as much time as possible. If you get hit for stalling, who cares? Because you're up by 4 points. 3 seconds left. And there's the match, 6-2.
In the 2013
Travis Linton comes out a champion at Medina with a victory over Olentangy's Nate Hall.
Travis Linton.
4 pounds. At 195, Tyler McClellan from CVCA. Tyler graduated in 2014. He won the state tournament his senior year at 195 pounds. As a freshman at Baldwin Wallace College, in 2015, he earned first team all OAC honors. In 2016, he qualified for the NCAA Division III National Tournament. He is starting his junior year on the mat, and he is also a business management major. His opponent that year was Bailey Faust from Lexington. Bailey graduated from Lexington in 2015. At Lexington High School, he had 182 wins, and he placed twice in the state tournament. He started at West Virginia University, and then he transferred to Ohio University, where he's a current sophomore.
And that'll put us on to 195 pounds. Of CVCA, Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy against Bailey Faust of Lexington.
from Detroit.
It's our last junior. Faust is a junior at Lexington. It's a number 3 seed against a number 4 seed.
From CBCA, Tyler McClellan. His opponent from Lexington, Bailey Faust. On deck 220.
McClellan in the black and white singlet. Faust of Lexington in the black and gold and purple.
McClellan took 8th place in the state tournament last year at 170 pounds. Faust did not place, but Faust is undefeated this year, 25-0 for Lexington.
That's a lot of matches early in the year.
It is. McClellan is 12-3.
No score, 45 seconds into the first period. Two behemoths banging around in the middle of the mat, each looking for an opening. And the first opening belongs to Bailey Faust of Lexington. Over under, good hips, good shoulders. Winds up with a takedown.
Again, Faust is just a junior. He's ahead of the senior now, 2-0.
Pressure back in. You got to put back into him.
Runner up here a year ago at a higher weight, Faust.
220.
Trying to get exposure here with the leg in, but McClellan's able to get his hips away. Now the cradle by Faust lost it. Now has lost control as they go out of bounds. Is the 1 point awarded? No. McClellan's still down.
Good rest.
You can tell McClellan's not happy about it. Both of these guys ranked in the top 4 in the state, both CVCA and Lexington Division II.
No boot. Throw it off.
You got to figure at some point this year these two are going to see each other again. Faust defers choice and McClellan goes back down. He was unable to get off the bottom in his opportunity in the first period. Faust doing a good job keeping the weight on the shoulders of McClellan. Trying to work that cradle in. McClellan's not able to do anything. Faust has long-ish arms, but not incredibly long arms. And so that cradle is not an easy thing to throw in there. It's an awkward cradle as McClellan tried to turn in. And a stalemate is called. Again, Faust doing a great job keeping the weight going over the shoulders of McClellan and keeping him from elevating his chest up off the mat or into a vertical position even when standing. And again, Faust trying to go back to that cradle.
Faust has pinned every opponent in this tournament so far that he's wrestled. His first match, he had a 14-second pin.
He's got the cradle now. Knee in the back, he's getting some points. Far shoulder is down, the near shoulder is still up, but maybe not for long. There's the pin call.
First pin of the finals.
And the 5th pin of the tournament for Bailey Faust. He pins his way through. This pin 1 minute 12 seconds into the second period.
And with the 25-0 record, he remains undefeated.
Yes, indeed.
In the 220-pound weight class, Garrett Harding from Claymont. Garrett graduated in 2014 from Claymont. In December of 2014, while at St. Catherine College in Kentucky, he wrestled internationally in the Kiev Cup in Russia. Interesting enough, in July of 2016, St. Catherine College closed after 85 years. I am not sure where he finished school. His opponent was Andrew Strutman from Westerville North. Andrew graduated in 2014. Following his graduation, he signed a letter of intent to play football at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. He is currently a senior defensive lineman for Duquesne.
Pounds, another Central Ohio wrestler in the finals, Andy Stroutman of Westerville North in the yellow singlet, taking on Garrett Harding of Claymont. And the orange and black, both of these wrestlers are seniors. Stroutman 5th at 220 last year at this Medina Invitational Tournament, 10th ranked in Division I. Harding ranked 7th in D2. Neither wrestler made the podium at the state tournament last year.
Andy Strutman's had an interesting season and an interesting tournament this year here at the Medina Invitational. He beat the #1 seed by a score of 10-1. He's had 3 pins, but he's down.
That gives up the takedown here. He took the shot but paid the price, as Harding made a nice counter. Harding hasn't gone the distance except for one match where he went to overtime, beating the 7 seed Parker Knapp of St. Ed's 2-1 in overtime.
Both wrestlers have 3 pins out of their 4 matches up to the finals.
Stroutman unable to get up to his base here in the first period after giving up the takedown. He's down to 25 seconds to go. This may be one of the lowest scoring finals rounds I can recall here in a tournament style at Matside. The high so far has been Jake Newhouse of Maslin Perry coming up with 11 points in what was the match of the night so far. Both guys put their opponent from feet to back at least once. Turned out to be an 11-4 win. Major Moore put up 8 in his victory. And we just had our first pin, Bailey Faust of Lexington, defeating CVCA's Tyler McClellan after finally locking up the cradle he was looking for the entire match. And you can see why he was looking for it. He's pretty darn good with it. 2-0, Harding with the lead here as we go to the second period and we start neutral.
Interesting you have for the outstanding wrestler, outstanding coach. That table says you made your decision.
Again, we have 2 seniors in this match.
And nothing but seniors from this point forward in the last 2 weight classes. Good stop sign there from Stroutman. Takes a strong arm to get a 220-pound guy stopped dead in his tracks, wheeling around you. He's got those long lineman arms. Stroutman definitely the bigger of the 2 as far as height. He trails 2-0. Harding just keeping himself in good position. Looks like he's been more of a counter wrestler to this point. It's worked out to his advantage. Oh, Strauman went for head and arm there. It came up empty. Harding's shot takes them both out of bounds. Bob Daly would have liked to have seen that head and arm attempt, but much rather seen it work though.
15 seconds left in the period, second period. Still 2-0.
Put it in there. You didn't like that. Put it in there. Under.
Two banging heads there in the middle of the match. Period ends. We go to the third. Harding. So he's going to take bottom here to try and get that extra point. He's up 2-0. Strauman's going to let him go with relative ease there. Quite quickly in. A little underhook, and that time it was Harding the aggressor and Strauman countering. Neither able to score.
3-point match. 1:45 left in the match.
Both guys pushing forward. .30 seconds gone. This time it's Harding with driving forward and Strauman backing up a little bit. Strauman with the shot into the heavy hips and thighs of Garrett Harding. And he can't get in there. Look at Harding, a low center of gravity, very big thighs, hips. It's a tough guy to figure out how to score against. If you got a good snap and good leverage, if you're a tall wrestler, that's maybe a weapon you can employ. We haven't seen Strauman try that even once. Just a good head snap into a front headlock. Maybe work a throw by or something of that nature. Use your advantage of reach and height and leverage. There's Strauman trying to use the reach.
He's got 30 seconds to make up a 3-point deficit.
Yeah, it's going to take more than a takedown. You're going to have to put him on his back. 20 seconds to go now. Down to 10, Strauman. Needing 3 points, almost. Looks like he had acquiesced there. And with 2 remaining, that'll do it here. 220 pounds, a 3-0 win for Garrett Harding. Hard fought battle between these big fellas.
3-0 victory for the Claymont wrestler, Garrett Harding.
And finally at heavyweight, Gino Rolo from Pickerington North. Gino wrestled and graduated from Pickerington North in 2014. In 2014-15, he went to West Virginia State University for football. He transferred to Columbus State in 2015. I know he is currently a wrestling official with the OHSAA. Gino lives in Pickerington. His opponent that year was Jordan Lee from Olmsted Falls. Again, not too much information on Jordan. I do know that he graduated in 2014.
That brings us to our final match of the evening. And another Central Ohio wrestler, last chance for Central Ohio to get a championship here. Gino Rolo of Pickerington North in the gray singlet. And Olmsted Falls, Jordan Lee in the gold singlet. Rollo is red, Lee is green. Lee with a 2-0 victory. He's unseeded.
He is.
2-0 victory in the semifinals over Matt Hunter. Westerville North.
Rollo is the number 3 seed from Pickerington.
Rollo is a big, big heavyweight. He's got a distinct height advantage on Lee. Now locking it up and into the takedown. You can see Lee there got on his heels, then had to belly out before something really bad happened, so he gave up the takedown. And now here's one of those areas where you can see that size advantage. Because Lee is really big in the hips and legs. But boy, when you're wearing 270 pounds of human being across your shoulders, that'll wear you out in a hurry.
Lee defeated the number 1 seed in the weight class by a score of 4-3 in his first match of the tournament.
That totally unseeded wrestler draws into the number 1 seed
and beats him.
Now, here's the flip side of that coin. If you can beat the number 1 seed, you've got relatively the easiest route to the finals. You just got to get over the biggest hurdle in the field first. Beat the 1 seed and the 4 seed to get here. Rollo has beaten the 6th and 7th. Did not face the 2nd seed, Joe Morgan Cunningham, as he was beaten in the quarterfinals.
Rollo has had 2 pins out of his 3 matches up to the finals. Lee had 4 matches, all close matches, close decisions.
Rollo last week at the Panther Invitational won a close-fought finals. That, like this one, was an extremely well-run tournament. Coach Brad Harris in the corner right now for Rollo. He's a big part of running that tournament, along with his wife and mom. Referee's talking about it here. They've given an escape. Got a discussion here about loss of control. They're going to give the 1 point to Lee. Now the contention is that the whistle was blown before there was loss of control. I don't know if the coaches for Pick North are contending that their guy stopped wrestling on the whistle, and that's when control was lost. They're not going to win this battle. It's going to be a 2-1 score just as time expires here. There's only a half second left when they awarded that point. So that's a tough one for Westerville North to give up. Rollo's going to get choice after Lee defers. Boy, in heavyweight, that 1 point can be huge there because a lot of times it's either going to end in a pin or a 1 point match. You see Lee trying to do his level best to keep Rollo down on the mat. Keeping that head and arm on the near side.
Both of these wrestlers has only lost 1 match so far this season.
Stall warning on Lee. Rollo with the underhook, ahead of steam. He's got the takedown. Both legs in control. Now Lee doesn't think so because he wasn't flat on his backside. But Rollo does get the takedown with short time to go. 11 seconds remaining to ride this period out. Now Lee looks like he's content just to wait for the third period to try his hand.
He'll be down by 4 points.
His coach wants him to take neutral. Lee was ready to take down. Now let's talk strategy. If you're down 4 points, if you take down and you escape quickly, you're still down 3 points, and you're still going to need 2 takedowns to win, or a takedown to the back. Is looking for a head and arm. Rollo almost locked around the waist for a takedown of his own, and now they go out of bounds. If you're down 4 points, you just take neutral. If you go feet to back, you're tied or maybe winning. So if you don't think you're going to have good success getting off the bottom, or at least timely success in a 4-point match, it's probably just as well to start neutral.
Yep. But he's going to have a tough time with this call being heavyweight.
If he can catch Rollo leaning and bending over, he might be able to catch him with that head and arm. But here in the third period, both guys are sweaty. The skin gets slippery, and that gets harder and harder to pull off. Minute 20 to go. Tried a jab whiz and didn't get it.
Makes it a 6-point match.
We have to get Cliff to splice in the Bob Dealey Brutus the Buckeye Jap whiz. Put it over top.
And we could be looking at our first Central Ohio champion.
Yes, indeed. 7-1 the score with 45 seconds remaining. Going to give a point here to Rollo for stalling on Lee. There's the turn. 35 seconds to go. That could be all she wrote. One shoulder down, the far shoulder down, and that's a pin. Gino Rollo of Pickerington North becomes the lone Central Ohio Medina Invitational Tournament champion. So Eric, that'll do it here from Medina. There were low-scoring finals. We had only 2 pins. A lot of evenly matched wrestlers. Some really nationally renowned wrestlers here, as you always have at the Medina Invitational Tournament. A lot of good wrestling, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's one of the closest Medina Invitational tournaments we've seen for the finals.
Yeah, there were a lot of evenly matched wrestlers that really couldn't find a lot of attacks. I think the 120-pound final was by far the most exciting. We had a lot of feet-to-back action, and a couple of those Detroit Catholic Central wrestlers really dominated against good competition.
Excellent wrestlers. So at least Central Ohio wrapped it up with a champion in the heavyweight division.
Yes, indeed. 4 finalists here in Medina, a champion in Gino Rollo. That's going to do it here from the Medina Invitational Tournament. Don't forget every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday to tune into the Education Channel. For Matside with Bob Dealey, thanks so much for being with us.